Hey YouTube folks, this is Tycondrius here doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at the Lanard Series 2 or Wave 2 Series 2, whichever way you want to put it, Predator Collection Falconer Predator or Falconer Hunter. So if you're not familiar with this type of predator, this is supposedly one of the super predators from the Robert Rodriguez Predators movie. That's the one with Adrian Brody and a group of mercenaries that get sent to they basically awaken in a jungle and are hunted by not the regular predators but the super predators. So if you haven't checked out that film, it isn't too bad. I know some people whinged on it, some people didn't like it. It depends on your personal taste. I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a cool film. They introduced a new subgroup of predators, which were the super predators. So there's 3 in total, and so far Lanard have actually done 2 of the 3 for the hunting group. So it would be cool to see if they do the next one, but I understand why they went and did the 2 of these. So box is pretty much the same as any of the previous figures that, from the Lanard collection. It's the same artwork on the side, same image on the side of all the different predators that are available for this wave. And then on the back, you got the exact same write-up about the predators being the most deadly and elusive hunters. I won't read it out again, but you should be able to read the whole lot there if you want to pause and read it. But it's basically just saying that, you know, predators have been hunting or been planning, basically using Earth as a hunting ground, and local law enforcement and special forces and blah blah have been basically alerted to these guys, and it's now on a who's the hunter, who's the hunted kind of type, wild goose chase type thing. So you have 25 points posable figure, you have collect them all, and then you have speciality hunter weapons, which is his wrist blade. Now the wrist blade does not come off, it's actually part of the wrist blade, of the gauntlet. It doesn't extend or anything. And then you have the Falcon drone, which is something kind of interesting, because it was something that even the NECA figure never came with originally, but I'll get into that in a minute. So moving on to the figure, we'll just bring him in here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll bring in his Falcon drone, because it's the only accessory he has. So he has this cool big drone thing, which has a little blade on it. Now in the movie, these little areas at the front were kind of like the red LEDs on the bio helmet, and it was basically a drone flying tracking thing. You see, I think in the film it's stores on his back and it pops out and flies off. But it is like a cool looking drone. As I was saying, the NECA figure, actually the initial version of the NECA version of this never came with one. The only way to get the drone, there was a 2-pack with the semi-translucent cloaked version of Falconer, and that was the only way to get. I think it was like it came with the battle damaged hunted jungle hunter, which was basically it was just captured. It looked like the standard jungle hunter, except it was kind of had a mask that was broken. Came with that. And then there was this guy in kind of clear translucent and half smoky black paint. That was the NECA version. This is the Lanard version, so it is cool. He does have this big handle thing, so it is designed that he kind of holds it in his hand instead of like it stores on his back or anything. There's a small little peg hole, but I think that's just where the injection molding was made. But you can hold it in either hand. You can fire it like a gun if you want, like a pew pew pew. You could turn it around and have it as some sort of weird, whatever the hell you want to call it. But it is something that he can grasp in either hand. And if I just bring in my tape measure, I'm going to do that quickly and get that out of the way. He should stand just around 7. In fact, I think, does he stand a little taller? No, he's just around the 7-inch mark, just as the other ones. In fact, if I bring in my recently looked at one, he's standing around the same height as the standard predators, which is a bit off scale. The super predators were actually, at least depicted in the movie, as being a little bit taller than the general predator, hence why they were called super predators. They were like bigger and taller than them. Bit more, just as lean, but bigger and taller. So this guy's kind of chock full of some nice paint apps, but there is some areas that they could have added extra stuff to. So for example, the wrist straps here on the back of the gauntlets are unpainted. Would have been nice if they had added that paint app. Just as I hinted with the other Predator, the neck ring that covers the kind of neck area is only half painted. It's painted at the front, but once you rotate around to the back, I'm not sure if you can see that there, you can see it stops being painted. The leg straps have the same kind of thing. The armor plating parts are all painted. There's these straps that go around the legs for holding on the armor. That is unpainted. If I remember correctly, this guy's supposed to have thigh armor, unlike the Berserker. He has like armor plating up here on his legs. Maybe Berserker does too. I'd have to double check that, but he doesn't have any of those. He just has clear legs. Articulation points is head is on a ball joint, so you have range of movement on that. You can get good, nearly full rotation on it. He does get hindered by his plasma cannon, which is on here. Now, again, I'm not sure if he actually used... In fact, I don't remember seeing him use a plasma cannon in the movie. I think his drone thing was like the replacement for it, but they used the same plasma cannon that comes with Berserker. His helmet is a different design to Berserker's, and I'll bring in Berserker in a minute. What's interesting to note is that, I'm not sure if you can see this, originally I thought this was just the Berserker head and they slapped on a new helmet, but it isn't. It does have the green paint that the Berserker has. In fact, we might as well do that now. So if I bring in Berserker, his head underneath here has like a pale green kind of skin tone, which is very similar to how the pale green looks underneath this guy's helmet, instead of matching the skin tone of the kind of off mustardy yellow. But it doesn't seem to be that way. I think these guys are supposed to have like a weird, like their heads were really bizarrely designed anyway, as they were, but I think it's just like their skin tone when it comes to their heads are different for some reason. So this guy is a little bit more hindered on his articulation. You can kind of get a 360 going with the arm, maybe. Let's see if I can get it. No, it's very, very tight to get a 360 going. These upper shoulder pieces do hinder it. They can move up and get the arms out of the way. He does move forward and back on the arms with no issue. It's just if you wanted to try and do a full 360, you're going to run into trouble. He does have a single jointed elbow with swivel. He has rotation in the wrist. He has a ball joint in the waist, which is kind of cool. It gives you some good range of movement. He can do splits that much. Not great. He is slightly hindered by these. Ooh, I just popped his leg off. You can hear it pop back in, but it is slightly hindered by this waist piece. Even though it is a rubber part, it does stop at a certain point. Single jointed knee. He has swivel in the ankle and a ball joint in the ankle. The ankles on this one is actually not too bad. They're actually not too tight, or they're not overly tight, and they're not too loose compared to the previous figure. Hopefully, if I put these up in the right time, the Hunter Predator will be the first one, which is the one that had a floppy legs with. But this guy stands quite nicely. And if I bring in his counterpart, this is the one from Series 1. This is the Berserker Predator. Just get him to stand in a better pose. You can see they use a darker bronze for the legs, where the armor is more copper on the new one. He has pretty much all the same. He is exactly the same figure, with the difference being the head. Paint apps are pretty much on par with the other one. So you have the strap here as well as unpainted. So he has pretty much all the same paint deco, where those kind of straps that hold on the armor pieces are unpainted. Oop, come on, get sand. Now this guy had a gimmick of a larger cannon. You could take this off and put on a larger cannon. I'm not sure where that cannon piece is. I kind of discarded it because it looked ridiculously out of size. But this guy can hold the Falcon drone just like the other one. So like if you have And even if you have the weapons from the previous Predator figures, which is this guy's combi stick. Now I don't have the Jungle Hunter came with a ridiculously oversized spear tip piece. If you have the combi stick, these guys can hold the combi stick as well. In fact, Falconer can hold it just as well as Berserker. Price point on these aren't too expensive as well. I think these are around 13 euros, thereabouts. So they're not, compared to the prices of stuff like NECA, they're not bank breaking costs, but they are pretty nice. They're fairly simplified, they're fairly cartoony colors, but if you were to go to town, you could probably repaint these, making these, like, the sculpting is there to make them look really, really good. You can even see on Falconer's head, he actually has sculpted on kind of dents and dings, so it's not just like, you know, complete flat surface. They actually did the work and did some detailing on it. It's just because of the way they're simplistically painted, you don't have, like, you know, ultra realistic or movie accurate paint jobs on these guys. But you could, if you wanted to, you can pretty much boil and pop these guys to take them apart and then just go to town repainting. That's if you want to have like a really good custom Predator that would fit pretty well with your 6-inch figures, because I'll just bring in some 6-inch figures yet again. So here is one of the Crimson Twins from the J. Joe Classified line. Bring in Ernie Hudson, aka Winston Zeddemore, from the Ghostbusters line. This is the Mattel version now, not the whatchamacallit, one of the Plasma series. I have one of the Loyalist Death Watch Trooper, or Mandalorian, from Clone Wars, from a galaxy far, far away. So you can see these guys do stack pretty nicely with 6-inch figures. They just look a little, as I said previously, they look cartoony. If you wanted to, you probably throw some washes over them, make them look really, really good, but it's up to yourself. But all in all, for what they are, they're not too bad. They're fairly simplistic. They don't have a lot of accessories, but you're not paying premium prices for premium figures, so they are decent enough. I got these two, actually I got all three in Smith's in Ireland. They should be available in most European Smith's stores as well. You can get them, as far as I know, in the States in Walmart. They're Walmart exclusive as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, someone might be able to correct me in the comments, but I know people are saying they were finding them in Walmart. The one thing that's a downside is that, if I just bring in the box here quickly, and without knocking everyone over hopefully, which I already did, there's a third figure in the wave, which is this one, which is the Jungle Hunter, done in, the original Jungle Hunter they did was semi-translucent and had some green skin paint apps for it to look like it's half cloaking. But the actual figure wasn't fully painted, whereas look, they kind of outdid themselves with the second version of this guy, because not only is he a fully painted version of the Jungle Hunter, his helmet is actually, the biomask is actually a removable option on it, and it actually has a Predator face underneath. It's the first one they've done with a Predator face in this scale. The only other one they've done with the Predator face, if I can grab him without knocking things over, is this guy, the big 12-inch one. It's pretty much the same idea, that you can take off the mask and put the mask back on the Jungle Hunter. They just downscaled it instead of upscaled it. There is also a second version of this in the kind of City Hunter brown colors, so there is a second version of this guy as well. I might pick that one up. I generally don't use this one much, but the 6-inch ones are actually, or 7-inch ones are actually quite nicer. But all in all, really good figure line. As I said, you're not paying premium prices for these guys. They're usually generally around, I think they're about $10 in the States, and they're about 13 euros over here. So there's not much in the price difference, and they're not too expensive. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick video review. Hopefully it's a quick video review for this Falconer Predator. As I said, I do hope to get around to doing, what was the last one? Was it Hunter Predator? No, Tracker Predator. There's 3 Predators from the Super Predators: Berserker, which is this guy, Falconer, which is this guy, and then there's one called Tracker. Now the difference with Tracker is he actually has a lot more armor on him, so they'd have to completely resculpt him. They wouldn't be able to get away with just reusing this, because he has a full, if I remember correctly, he has a full chest area armored up. He has like a necklace as well made of bones, and he has like more armor going down his legs. And what's cool about them is if they did it correctly and they did him as a slightly deluxe figure, I'd love to see them do Tracker with a hound. Like they've done a dog sculpt for the Predator, for the Alien Tree figure. He's like an Alien Tree runner with a fixed pose dog. I'd like to see them do something like that for Tracker as a maybe slightly deluxe. Have him like this, and then have one of his hounds as a fixed pose figure, which would look pretty cool. So I know I'm a bit waffling, so I'll finish this up here. So I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.